My niece just asked me to adopt her. My older brother and his wife and their oldest son died in a car crash 16 years ago. I was 22 and babysitting his 2-year-old daughter when I got the call. A drunk driver ran a red light. They died on impact, all 3 of them. I was sitting in the hospital waiting room holding this tiny girl who kept asking where mommy was. I didn't know what to tell her. I just graduated college 3 months earlier. I was living in a studio apartment, working an entry-level job, eating ramen most nights. But when social services asked if anyone could take her, I said yes immediately. Nobody in both families had a problem with it. My parents were too old and too devastated. My brother's in-laws were the same. Everyone agreed she should stay with me because she already knew me. I'd been babysitting her twice a week since she was born. After months of back and forth with lawyers and social workers and home visits, I became her legal guardian. I moved into a 2-bedroom apartment I could barely afford. I learned how to do pigtails from YouTube. I bought a car seat and a toddler bed and stuffed animals. Those first few years were the hardest thing I've ever done. She had nightmares constantly. She'd wake up screaming for her mom. I'd rock her back to sleep at 3 a.m. and then drag myself to work 4 hours later. My boss threatened to fire me twice for being late so often, but I figured it out. I had to. When she was 4, she asked me why she didn't have a mommy and daddy like the other kids at preschool. I told her the truth, that her parents loved her so much, but they had to go to heaven, that I was her uncle, but I was going to take care of her forever. She asked if that made me her new daddy. She started calling me Uncle Dad after that. When I met my wife, Sarah, when my niece was 7, I was upfront about my situation on the first date. I had a kid. She wasn't biologically mine, but she was mine. If Sarah couldn't accept that, we couldn't move forward. Sarah showed up to our second date with a frozen coloring book and crayons. She asked if she could meet her. My niece was obsessed with Elsa at the time. We got married 2 years later. My niece was our flower girl. She took her job so seriously, she practiced walking down the aisle for a week straight in our living room. After we got married, Sarah and I had 3 kids of our own, a boy, then twin girls. My niece was 10, 12, and 14 when each of them was born. She was the best big sister. She'd wake up in the middle of the night to help with feedings. She'd read to them before bed. She taught my son how to ride a bike. I never treated her any differently than my biological children. She got the same allowance, the same curfew, the same consequences when she broke the rules. She went to the same summer camps. We had the same college fund set up for all 4 kids. Last year, she applied to colleges. She wrote her essay about growing up after tragedy, about losing her parents and her older brother at 2 years old, about being raised by an uncle who became a father, about gaining a stepmom who never once made her feel like she was anything less than a daughter. I read that essay and cried for an hour. She got into her top choice, full ride. She's starting in the fall. Last week was my 38th birthday. After everyone left and the kids went to bed, my niece asked if she could talk to me and Sarah privately. She sat us down on the couch and pulled out an envelope. Her hands were shaking. She said, "I've been thinking about this for a long time. I'm 18 now, so legally I can make this decision myself." She handed me the envelope. Inside were adult adoption papers, already filled out, just missing my signature. I just looked at her and started crying. I couldn't even speak. Sarah was crying too. My niece hugged me and said, "You've been my dad since I was 2 years old. You taught me to ride a bike. You walked me through my first heartbreak. You stayed up with me studying for the SATs. You're as much my dad as my biological father was, if not even more. I love you and Sarah, and I want to officially be your daughter. I want your last name." She'd been carrying those papers around for 2 weeks waiting for the right moment. I signed them. Sarah signed too. My niece whispered, "Thank you for choosing me every single day." I told her she was always mine.